Episode 12 of Crazy Love ended with the ex-girlfriend tricking Gojin by, inviting him, by faking to be drunk and having him come into, which I'm guessing is their favorite, or the hotel or restaurant that they used to frequent. And he is standing on business. He's like, yeah, my memories are just fine, and I've been lying to you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another review on the Review Garden.
Gojin told her, there's no more us. I stopped blaming you, and I am now loving Sina. And this girl is over here crying, not understanding what is happening. On one hand, I do feel for her because, she's telling him that she didn't throw him away, and he doesn't know the full story behind, what happened. And she, in her mind, she's like, the only reason I had to do it is because my dad, da, da, da. But I feel like, maybe at that time she didn't know how to stand up to her father, but now she's trying to stand up to him. It's really annoying, this mind game that she's playing, that Soo Young is playing with Sina. And she had her meet her at this restaurant and then come talking about, oh, Gojin is not in love with you, he's just using you. Cut things off so it's easier. I know his memories are not gone, and he's still in love with me. She's delusional. And even when she was Soo Young was standing outside her car, she was like, oh, Gojin is just angry, that's all. He's just angry with me. He's gonna get back together with me. Like, no, he's not. And I just hope, like, Sina doesn't let what Soo Young is saying to her get to her head. It's a good thing, Sina, the next morning, she was like, she went to Soo Young's job and pretty much told her, like, hey, I love him and I'm not going to leave him. If he doesn't love me and he wants to leave me, he could tell me with his own mouth. Like, I'm not gonna leave him for you, basically. And Soo Young is like, what do you want? Money? You want to be a teacher? I could do that for you. If it's about money, Nogo Jin can give her money too. And there are many other ways for her to become a teacher that doesn't revolve being at your school. Okay? And it's also crazy to me that if you remember in the beginning, they try to make these two, Soo Young and Sina, as friends. And, she was genuinely helping her when the coffee fell on her. She even gave her the dress. And then once she find out, that she's dating Gojin, it's like this thing just snapped in her head, and all of a sudden she's like, do you think you could beat me? There's no way you could beat me. And I'm like, girl, you're fighting over a man that does not want you. It's not your money that's going to make you win. It's more about character. Okay? You're the one who made him the way he was. It's after he met you, after you dumped him, that he became the rude person that he is, because he didn't want to get hurt again. And Cena broke through all of that. Okay? So don't come over here saying, you think you're gonna win? Like, girl, you ain't got nothing over Cena, okay? Let's try to understand it. It's been 12 years, right? Since they broke up. And during those 12 years, she was married to another man. And she's like, it's been 12 years. I thought we could, like, you expected him to wait for you for 12 years? It's been 12 years. I didn't think you'd be in love right now. I'm so, oh, what? Like, she's on the list for the delusional characters, because I can't even. And back to, Cena teaching. So she's been spending time practicing how to be a better teacher, and, recording herself and seeing like what she's doing wrong, how to improve herself. And, she's still stuttering in front of the camera. So she went and asked her roommate, Oki, for different masks that she could use to start filming properly, to give her a little sense of confidence. And, during this whole time, Gojin is like, you're not spending any time with me. You're not giving me attention. So, like, he doesn't know what she's doing, what she's planning, because she's keeping it a secret. So he's like, you don't have another man that you're seeing on the side, do you? So it's just so cute how he's just acting like I need more attention from you. And the whole interaction between, her Cena's brother and Gojin, that's also cute, because you could see Gojin, like, he's letting loose, he's letting the brother come over his house. He's interacting with her brother, and, they're forming their own brother-in-law relationship. The scene where Cena and her old friends met up together, like, while Cena and Oki were at Gojin's house with her brother, they were like, oh, this person's coming back from the army. And, they were excited to meet them. So Gojin is like thinking it's her first love. So, like, when they were meeting, he goes and he's like, yes, I've reserved a room for all of you, and I've order whatever you want, I'll cover the tab. And he goes, when is Mr. I forgot the name, but he's like, when is Mr. showing up? And one of the girls raised their hand and was like, do you mean me? And, like, the look on his face, like, you could tell, like, the whole reason he came here is because he was going to be jealous. But then he realized that it wasn't a guy they were talking about. It was a woman. And then he's like, oh, okay, well, you have a good night. And don't forget to think of me tonight. This is like a totally different character from the beginning, with how mean he was and how much of a jerk he was, and then to now being so loving and jealous, and he's funny. So he's definitely shown a lot of growth throughout the series. The scene outside the restaurant shows you just how and I said some rich people, they act like, they're always right. She almost hit the girl with the car, and then she blamed it on Cena, that, oh, Cena needs to watch out for the car, da, da, da. And I'm like, how about you watch how you're driving? You almost hit her and she was in the right. So that's just weird to me. And then come to find out, the girl who almost hit them was Soo Young's cousin. And, in that scene, Soo Young did not want to start any trouble. But, Oki was the one who was telling the lady, like, hey, you need to watch out for people, because whatever you're doing is wrong. And they were going back and forth. And, while scuffling, Cena fell on the floor. And Soo Young was gonna try to help her, but Go Jin was still there. He didn't go home yet, and he was like, "Don't touch her." And then he kind of picked her up, and they moved away from the situation. But it was the look that Go Jin gave Soo Young that it's like, and then Soo Young is looking like a little puppy with her face like all sad and whatnot. On another side, because we remember, a bunch of people are trying to kill Go Jin. One of the people, let's start with the other ladies. So the three ladies that used to be his secretaries, they decided they want to stop, planning revenge, because they've asked the assistant, and they are like, he's letting them use their hours, their PTO, and they're allowed to take breaks. So they wanted to stop what they were plotting because they feel like he changed, right? And then on the other hand, you have his best friend, Mr. O, who is plotting for Go Jin to be removed as president. So he got the teacher, I don't remember her name, but the one whose ex-husband left her with all the loans with the loan sharks. He got her to go on television in front of reporters to say that Go Jin has, been doing tax evasion and he hasn't paid his taxes. This is the proof, and so on. And he's also, working, Mr. O is also working in the background with the other guy to try and bring Go Jin down. Mr. O finally confronted, Go Jin, and told him, that he's ready to take his seat. But he didn't say anything about why he's doing it yet. He just said, you need to come up with a plan to save your company, because all the stuff that O has already done caused a lot of shareholders to be, agreeing to get Go Jin off as president. There's a lot of parents that are suing because they're practically blaming him for abuse of power and tax evasion. So you have all these people coming at him, and Soo Young is like, oh, looks like Gojin needs help, and the only way I can help is to take over his entire company. And I'm like, okay, girl, let's see what you got. And then you have, because of the tax evasion, you have people coming in and taking all the documents and whatnot. So as they're doing that, and Cena is trying to collect all his stuff, she hits the button in Gojin's closet, and she realizes, because that's where he was keeping all of the threats that were being done against him. And that's also where he was keeping the information about his accident. So the board that has all the suspects, so including Cena, including the guy who already went to prison for hitting him that night, and including Mr. No. And in the room, you can also see all the teddy bear, Gojin, the stick figure with like blood all over it. So all these things, she's realizing how much trouble he was in. Episode 13 ends with, the board meeting, when everybody votes on whether or not Gojin will be replaced as the president of the company. So let's see what happens. So it's time for the vote, and you can see that Young Tae is kind of caught in the middle of Mr. No and Mr. No and Mr. O, right? Because O came to him and was like, we can overthrow Gojin, right? And then Gojin sent Young Tae a message prior to the meeting. We don't know what the message said, but you could tell that it probably said something, for Young Tae not to vote against him. So he's like, debating what he should do, who he should side with. And also should mention that, last episode 13, they showed you a clip of, Mr. O at his sister's, he was at his sister's, because his sister passed away. So he was visiting his sister's memorial, and, he told her that, hey, today's the day that Gojin falls because you fell, something like that. So maybe he's doing this because of his sister. So they didn't have enough votes to, overthrow Gojin. And then Seigi, Mr. O, was like, yeah, but the reason he can't be the leader, the president anymore, is because he has amnesia. And here's the proof from the doctor that shows that he doesn't have his memories. And then this is when, Gojin reveals to him and says that I've been faking it so that I can trick you, And he also shows that, I'm guessing, Mr. O has been embezzling money in an offshore account. So who knows? Me personally, I would get I would fire all these shareholders, because majority of them don't want him as president. So like moving forward, because many of them, as they were walking out of the room, they were like, this is unbelievable, what are we gonna do now? I mean, I don't know if you could fire shareholders or if they have to carry out their terms or whatever it is, but they need to be gone because they're not on his side. They're not supporting him. So regardless, they don't have the company's best interest at heart. And now that, the news came out that everyone, all the allegations were false or whatever, you have all these people coming out saying, oh, how great he was. He made donations here and there. Da, da, da. But I'm like, where were y'all when the protesters were outside? Like, okay, so were these people always vouching for him, or is it the way that, the show is showing it to us? Because I'm like, now you guys are coming and saying he was always good. I mean, he was a little cold at first, but then, he gave us time off. He did this. He donated this, and here Gojin is watching this and, he didn't realize that he did this, but it was actually Cena in the beginning of the series when she was mad at him and she was spending his money. She was, donating all this money to, the people who actually deserve it. Director Ma came to apologize to Gojin, and you can understand both sides. He's mad at her because she gave his book to Young Tae, and then she listened to Mr. O and, went and reported the whole tax evasion thing. So, like, she fell for these people because she needed money. And her ex-husband, owed a lot of money to the loan sharks, and she needed money. And on Gojin's side, he's hurt by what she did, and he doesn't feel like he can trust her. So, like, he's saying, you're fired, and don't even think about working in education again, because I'm going to make sure no one hires you, and I'm going to sue you for defamation. And this woman doesn't even have the money to pay the loan sharks, and now she's going to have to, pay all these lawyer fees and then pay your defamation, because you already know Gojin's going to win because she's actually guilty of it. So, I don't know. In a way, you can kind of feel for her. Let's switch back to Cena and the fact that she is, doing her teachings on her own. She told Gojin that she didn't want to apply for a teacher position at his company because then it will look like, he helped her get it. And she's not going to any competition either. So we got to see, her with her mask. She calls herself Miss Mask Instructor. And she's actually doing really well. So all that practice, all that effort, you could truly tell that she's been working towards her goal. And she uploaded her first video to YouTube. So or I don't know if they use YouTube or something, but a channel, social media channel that's similar to YouTube. So she's going to be teaching online instead. Gojin is, still trying to figure out who tried to hit him and who's behind it all. So he was, looking at the piece of evidence that he gathered himself, and he thought back to what Mr. O said the day that he was supposed to be voted off, Mr. O told him that, hey, I'm not going to tell you why I'm doing this. You need to think hard and figure out what part you had to play in this. So when he's thinking about this, he went back to his house where he got hit. And he noticed that these two guys were up in the tree trying to fix the camera. So apparently there was a camera there that was not supposed to be facing his house, but was supposed to be facing the mountains. So with that, he got a new piece of evidence. He was watching everything that happened to him that night. So he found out that there were, I think he saw the girl. He saw the girl leaving with the stuff. So he found out there was another person who came to his house that night, and he took a picture. With the picture, he brought it over to the guy who's in jail, the old teacher that actually hit him in the car while he was drunk. And he's asking him, who's in the photo? And if we think back, how many people were at his house that night? Okay. And with him seeing the video, he actually got to see how many people were in his house. So we have one, the girl who went to throw pig poop at his house, and she took out all of his camera, which was one of the three girls who wanted revenge. So the three secretaries. So that's one person. Next person was Cena. She went there with the onions and the hammer to try and kill him, basically, when she found out she was diagnosed with the brain tumor. Then we have number 3. We have the guy who actually hit him, and he hit him while he was drunk. And, he was a teacher at Gojin School, and he was a gambler. So Gojin fired him, and that made him angry at Gojin. So number 4, we know Mr. O, Segi, was at his house as well. He was the one who's standing over his body and just left him there. And, now we know he's blaming Gojin and saying that Gojin killed his sister. And number 5, we have another person based on the video that was at his house as well. There was a man walking after everyone left. He was walking towards him. And when he turned around, the camera caught him. And it is Soo Young's secretary dude, which, if you remember, Young Tae also said that he knew him from somewhere. So where did he know him from, and why was he there that night as well? When Gojin goes to visit, the person who hit him in prison, he basically told him that the reason he got hit is because he made a bet. And they kind of give you like a flashback of when it happened. So Soo Young's secretary goes to him and I guess was pretty much fishing him out, because he met they met while gambling. They met in the casino. So he pretty much cased him out and knew that he could use him. And the way he manipulated this man into thinking that it was his idea to run Gojin over is crazy. And told him, he would pay him. If you can hit him, I will pay off all your debt. So pretty much got him to do it because of money. That was the gist of it. So he's telling Gojin that this happened because he made a bet. The guy also told Gojin that, he refers to him, to Soo-yoon's assistant, as Dr. Joe. And pretty much he's in the casinos. He's pretty much a loan shark. He loans people money and, they pay it back. He's a son of elites. And so it's like, why are you secretly working for Soo-yoon if your parents have all this money, if you have all this money? So what is which I'm pretty sure was probably to get to Gojin. So it's like, how much did he know about her to know that eventually she would cross path with Gojin in the future? He also told Gojin that Segi was there because he thought he was the one who sent him a letter. So I think we can say that this whole thing probably started because Segi got a letter stating that Gojin was responsible for killing his sister, and which we saw the sister committed suicide. So she jumped from a building. Osegi, finally revealed to Gojin the reason, he's been doing this. And he's like, my sister didn't kill herself. You're the one who did it with the threat. Because he pretty much told her, Segi played a recording that he received. So I'm guessing that's the letter he was talking about with the guy who's in prison. That he got a recording, and pretty much it was the sister saying, I'm sorry. And then it was Gojin's voice saying, you'll never work in this industry again. So pretty much similar to what he said to director Ma. And, Gojin was just sitting there in shock because he didn't know. I don't think he knew that it was Segi's sister. And, it was just the whole news was just shocking to him as a whole. And I think it was the next day, a package was sent to the office. And when Sina was opening it, Gojin was there too. And it pretty much blew up in her face. Luckily, she was okay, but this caused the police to come to the building. And, they were asking every employee questions, stuff like that. So apparently everyone received an email, a while back saying that pretty much, I'm going to kill you, no Gojin, something like that. And no one did anything about the email. They just went about their day and thought it was a joke email. And you could see the Nogojin's face. He was pretty, sad about it. Well, kind of like a sad, mad face. Like nobody cared type of thing. And then, we see that the person who sent the package with the bomb, it was a student. So, and we find out when the mom comes in, it was one of the previous secretaries. It was her son who sent the package to the office. And she pretty much came forward and said, which of the stuff in his closet that she sent. So the teddy bear, and all that stuff.
and her son had nothing to do with it. I think Gojin is in a weird state right now because he just found out that, his employees saw a threat to his life and they didn't do anything about it. They didn't even warn him. And then you have the package that came in. So when the other two secretaries came into his office to apologize for what they did, and one of them also came clean about being at his house that night, and he was just like, I don't plan on forgiving you, and get your lawyers ready. So he's kind of like in this state of, I'm not forgiving everybody. Da, 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 da. So you kind of see like a shift back to to the way he was, but I'm sure like Cena can bring him back to where he's supposed to be. Now, I'm not saying that what the ladies did was right, but they were hurt by his actions, and he's also hurt by what they did, because sending him all these things, he has a closet full of previous threats against his life, and even like they sent, not these girls, but whoever it was, they sent dead animals to him. So like you could understand both sides, and he's yelling at Cena because she is trying to tell him, hey, they're people too, and he's like, why aren't you taking my side? I thought you would be on my side. But I'm like, she used to be one of them. Like, you used to treat her like crap too. So in a way, she understands where the people are coming from, because she was at your house with a hammer and onions about to kill you too. So you can understand where everyone is coming from. And it's just a matter of figuring out the right punishment for those who did wrong. Meanwhile, we're finding out that there's someone else that wants to kill him. But I feel like she's been showing up here and there, because there was one time when Cena was outside and she bumped into Cena and you saw her. And then there was another time she went into the cafe, which was in these two episodes. She went to the cafe to get a club sandwich. And then now they're showing her and like in her room with all these pictures of Gojin and some of it with Cena, and counting down the days when she would be making her attacked. So she goes to Cena's house and pretty much kidnaps her and calls Gojin, to come and get her. And Gojin is like racing, trying to get to her, and then he reaches the top of a rooftop building and pretty much sees the girl. I'm guessing her name is Miss Na Su Young or something like that. And she's like all dressed in white and just looking at him and smiling. And he's like, he has like this confused look on his face, and they just cut it there. And that was the end of episode 14. And this wraps up our journey on the Review Garden. Thank you for joining me today as we explored this drama. If you enjoyed this reaction and review, please remember to subscribe for more insightful videos. Don't forget to like this video and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback helps our channel grow. As always, I'm truly grateful for your support and for joining me on this journey on the Review Garden. Until next time, and happy listening. Bye.